you've just diagnosed an entire like lifetime of problems in like one conversation.
At 18, Jess started studying psychology, but soon changed her mind.
As a teenager, I was like, oh, I'm never going to work in healthcare. I got to a certain point and I was like, I know that I could help so many people by doing this. So I decided to do a children's nursing degree.
While on placement, Jess had a chance encounter that would change her life.
One of the doctors sort of looked at me and I could see her looking at me and I was like, what is she looking at? Like, why is she staring at me? And I was used to people looking at my tube, and I explained a little bit about what had happened up to that point, about having this endoscopy, and how I had other issues going on, like with my bladder and stuff. This is their exact words. I could be way overstepping here, but have you ever heard of Ehlers Danlos Syndrome? And I was like, no.
When doctors are in medical school, they're taught, if you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. So that basically means think of the most common thing before you go like diagnosing things that are really like weird and wonderful. But Ehlers Danlos Syndrome is the weird and wonderful, and we often get misdiagnosed, and that was the case with me.
4 months after that chance encounter, a geneticist confirmed that Jess did have Ehlers Danlos Syndrome, and it all started making sense.
I'd had other things, like I didn't sleep properly as a child, and I used to have real problems like anxiety and like phobias and things like that, and Ehlers Danlos can affect all of these things, so it just all pieced together. It was like it was a big jigsaw, and it just like slotted together.
The zebra basically signifies that I am a bit different, and the thing about a zebra print is that no two zebras have the same stripes, and no two people with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome have the same symptoms, even though we might look similar.
Jess became friends with Ellie, who also has EDS and went a long time undiagnosed. They met in hospital and became good friends over lockdown, messaging on social media.
When we first met, I wasn't in education. All my friends had left me, so I was so isolated.
It was almost as if like, oh, there is another person that does understand this.
Okay, so I don't look particularly great because I am really not very well.
Social media has become a space for Jess to educate and inspire others, especially on TikTok.
My most ever famous one is one of me just pulling a tube out of my nose. That's 4.6 million views. What I hope will come for is kind of already happened, like just for people to feel like not alone.
Much of Jess's life is relatively normal. She spends time at work, with friends, or her now husband Caleb, and when she is in hospital for weekly fluids, appointments or procedures, her positive attitude and resilience is something to admire.
So many people have been like, well, you can't do that, you can't do this, so you should drop out of uni, you should not do that, you should not be a nurse, you should not work, you should not, like, honestly, the amount of people is like, you should not. I'm going on my honeymoon in like 5 weeks. And I was telling my consultant about it, and he was like, oh, that's really great. And I was like, you wouldn't say to a healthy person, oh, that's really great, you're going on holiday. I'm like, yeah, it is a big thing. Like, I've not been abroad for over 6 years because of my health. But at the same time, like, it's a holiday. Like, I can go on holidays with anyone else.
Hello, how's married life?
It's alright. It's not that different to unmarried life. It's the same thing about like when I talk about wanting to have kids, people are always like look at me like I'm deluded. Maybe I am.
Jess's determination inspires thousands online, but even more so, the people closest to her.
How can I describe it? I just think she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's been times where we've been very low and she said, stop feeling sorry for yourself and just get up and get going.
I feel like the person I am today has a lot to do with the impact that she's had.
You drive me up the wall some days, but you never fail to bring me joy every single day. I cannot imagine a single day without you.
This rare genetic disorder affects almost 1% of the UK population. That's nearly 700,000 people, and Jess is just one example of the long and difficult journey taken to reach diagnosis, all because doctors were taught not to look for zebras.
Looking back now, it's so obvious like that there was something not quite right. All of the stuff that I've had since I was little can all be accounted for.